Good evening. Police remain locked in a standoff with an armed pensioner in West Sussex in a siege which began more than 26 hours ago. Officers were first called to the property on Harbour Road in Pagham yesterday afternoon after reports of threatening behaviour. A woman who was known to the 72-year-old man left the house safely. Residents on the road have been told to stay inside.
Several police cars, vans arrived on the car park. A little bit concerned as several more started to arrive. They drove off into Harbour Road, and next thing we know they cordoned off the area. The beach estate is open, it's only Harbour Road that is affected.
A toddler from Oxfordshire is one of 1,000 people taking part in a groundbreaking genetics project. Evie Kirk from Chinner has a rare immunodeficiency condition, which means she can't fight off infections. The 2-year-old and her parents are signed up to the 100,000 Genomes Project to try to unlock the mysteries of her illness. Kate Bunkle reports.
Evie Kirk looks like any other healthy 2-year-old. But her body's immune system doesn't work, and she needs fortnightly doses of antibodies to help her fight off infection. Her parents first realised something was wrong when she was a baby.
We keep getting knocked back with it's just an infection, it's just a virus, and we knew that something more serious was going on, because when you've had previous children and they're all fit and healthy, then you do kind of think, why is this one becoming unwell on a constant, regular basis?
Evie was eventually diagnosed with immunodeficiency, but doctors still don't know exactly which gene is affected. The family are taking part in the Oxford-based 100,000 Genomes Project in the hope it will give them the answer.
They'll give us hopefully we'll have a full diagnosis whether it will then be passed on to her children if she goes on to have any.
The family are among 1,000 people taking part in the project. Many of those involved have rare illnesses and cancer. They each give samples of their blood, which can then be studied for genetic mutations. The scientists hope that comparing all of the patients' results will help them develop new tests and treatments.
I think the Genome Project opens up the possibility of a tremendous amount of molecular, genetic and medical research that could last for years. And even in rare diseases, we're already seeing a better understanding of a patient's molecular genetic diagnosis can lead to us applying new medications, new treatments for those patient groups, which otherwise we would never actually have thought of using.
For Evie, it could mean working out whether she'll be at risk from more serious diseases as she gets older. Kate Bunkle, ITV News, Chinner.
The first major phase of a multi-billion-pound project to improve rail services for passengers in Surrey and Sussex has opened for the first time today. A massive new concourse and platforms at London Bridge came into operation. Meanwhile, engineers have been out in force on the lines to Waterloo, disrupting services to Reading, Windsor and Guildford. Here's our transport correspondent, Mike Pearce.
Today marks a major milestone in the Thameslink project. It's taken almost 4 years of work, but the first part of the giant new concourse at London Bridge is now open. It will be used by 2 million passengers from Surrey, Sussex and Kent every week.
When we finish building the concourse, it will be the size of the football pitch at Wembley Stadium. What we've opened today is about 2/3 of that new concourse area. We've got 14 new escalators in service today. Ultimately, there'll be 27 new escalators when the station's fully open. And in terms of capacity, it's designed for a 65% growth in passenger capacity here at London Bridge, so certainly sized for the future.
But there's still more work to do. The Thameslink project is costing £6.5 billion and will see a new London Bridge station along with extra track to allow more trains to run. It should be complete early in 2018.
Oh, we're not finished yet by a long way, actually. We've still got about 1/3 of the station to rebuild behind the hoardings, and that won't open for another 18 months. But today we are opening 2/3 of the station, and I think the important thing is that for the first time, passengers can really see what we've been about.
At Waterloo, a number of platforms have been closed over the weekend to allow for major work. The station is seeing a massive upgrade to improve services and reliability.
It's one of the most densely used parts of the railway in the country, with an awful lot of traffic coming through it. So we need to make sure that the railway is more resilient. And over the next couple of years, we're going to be bringing more services into Waterloo So it's vital that we keep upgrading the track.
Mike Pearce, ITV News.
Some more news in brief now, and Coast Guards have rescued a woman with head injuries from a luxury hotel in the Solent. She was winched into the rescue helicopter after she tripped and hit her head at Spitbank Fort. She was flown to the Queen Alexandra Hospital for treatment. The crew on board Portsmouth-based warship HMS Daring is preparing to join the fight against Islamic State. 190 personnel will leave Portsmouth on Friday for the Persian Gulf, protecting American aircraft carriers during bombing raids. Tourism in Brighton has never been stronger. That's the view of Brighton's Sea Life Centre after the weather brought in crowds for the bank holiday weekend. 5 million people are reported to have taken UK breaks, with 2/3 of us planning a staycation in the next few months.
Tourism in Brighton has never been stronger. I think over a period of years, especially when you're in times of austerity, people will have to budget, and one of the things that they sacrifice is their holidays, which are normally 7 or 14 days. And what they're doing now is long periods or staycations where they go away for 3 or 4 days at a time.
And you can watch a full report on this story on our website. Just go to itv.com/Meridian. Now, work is underway to transform one of the South's most historic country parks. The £2.68 million project will see the restoration of a chapel that was once the centrepiece of the world's largest military hospital. Richard Jones reports.
Until it was demolished in the 1960s, the Royal Victoria Hospital dominated the landscape at Netley in Hampshire. With corridors a quarter of a mile long, it could care for up to 1,000 injured soldiers. Now all that remains is the chapel. Randolph Lambeth sang in the choir here as a 7-year-old.
The officers came in first, and then the wounded came in, they were assisted, and then the soldiers. And before the soldiers entered the church, they had to stamp their feet because they were coming into the presence of God, and they had to have clean boots.
The restoration of the chapel and improvements to the Royal Victoria Country Park are being paid for by Hampshire County Council and the Heritage Lottery Fund. Project manager Paul Dillamore says all traces of the last makeover in the 1980s will go.
We're going to take the chapel frontage back to how it was. In front of the chapel, we'll have pergolas that will outline the original entrance, because this was the main front entrance of the hospital. The chapel sat inside part of the entrance, so you'd go into an entrance and then you had the chapel.
Plans also include a new exhibition telling the story of the hospital. And once work is finished, visitors will be able to climb to the top of the chapel to enjoy views out across Southampton Water. Richard Jones, ITV News.
To some sport now, and Southampton Football Club have signed Moroccan Sofiane Boufal in a record-breaking deal, thought to be around £16 million. The attacking midfielder joined Saints from the French side, Lille. Thousands of people have been taking part in free sports events across the region this weekend to celebrate Britain's success in the Rio Olympics. Visitors to Reading Rowing Club were able to try their hand at different activities, as well as meet several Olympic heroes. I Am Team GB was organised by ITV and the National Lottery.
It doesn't matter if you want to make it as the next big thing or you want to just find a new sport that you enjoy. We're down the road from, a town centre. This is so accessible. There are clubs here that you can walk into and you can ask for, the next lesson or the next beginner course. And people need to know that this is available for them on their doorsteps. And for that word to be spread within one day, within, just a couple of hours, I think is really, really powerful.
And the Paralympics get underway in Rio in just over a week's time. But before that, there'll be a huge festival at the Olympic Park in London. Thousands of people are expected to attend the National Paralympic Day and Liberty Festival, including a group of dancers with learning disabilities from Surrey who've been selected to perform at its opening. Emma Wilkinson has more.
Explode! This is Surrey Choice's Rhythmic Collision Dance Company, and they're rehearsing for the performance of a lifetime. Next week, they'll dance in front of a huge crowd at National Paralympic Day and Liberty Festival. The event at the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park in the capital is a showcase for a range of inclusive sports and arts. Tens of thousands are expected to come along and try out different activities and enjoy a lineup of disability arts.
This opportunity is probably one of the biggest opportunities that we've had throughout our whole 16-year career. All the dancers have it within their souls. They were born to perform, and every moment is magical.
The Paralympic Games are all about inspiring the human spirit, and I can't think of a better example than what Rhythmic Collision do.
This group were asked by the Embassy of Brazil to perform at the opening of the event. Together with an orchestra for young people with disabilities, the performance will celebrate Paralympic values and 100 years of samba.
I like the floor bit because you can move more with your arms and your legs and your head and your body. And then you're going to do this and waving in, out, in, out. I love dancing so much. So all these people will be friendly. I enjoy it because I get more confident and I feel more happy in my dancing.
For the dancers, this is a chance to not only immerse themselves in the spirit of the Paralympics, but to showcase their skills, talent and passion for dancing. Emma Wilkinson, ITV News, Guildford.
Well, time now to have a look at the weather forecast. Here's Philippa.
From blizzards to pool, driving through Europe. Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Hello there. Well, the next few days are looking fairly settled. A lot of dry weather on the scene, some good sunny spells around, and then the best of that sunshine, feeling pretty warm as well. And we can see just why. High pressure has been with us through today. It will stay with us through the rest of the working week. And if we do see any weak frontal systems coming our way, they'll bring little more than thickening cloud and just the odd showery outbreak. Back to tonight, then, a dry picture across the region, clear spells for many, and under the clearest skies, the chance of seeing some patchy mist and fog developing. But that will soon disperse tomorrow morning to leave us with a dry start, plenty of sunshine, the best of that the further east you go. Little change into the afternoon, staying dry, staying bright, still plenty of sunny spells around, and in the best of that sunshine, temperatures doing well, hitting a high of around 24 degrees. A quick look at the high tides then, you can see for Portland around 6 in the morning and again around 6:15 in the evening. Now, as I said, high pressure will stay with us for the coming days, so a lot of dry weather on the cards, 1 or 2 showery outbreaks here and there, but plenty of sunny spells coming through, and in the best of that sunshine, temperatures still hovering in the low to mid-20s. Enjoy.
Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Thanks very much, Philippa. That's it from us for now. We'll be back during Good Morning Britain from 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Do join Amanda for that if you can. But from everyone here on the Bank Holiday Monday team, have a very good evening. Bye-bye.